Today I'm joined by Tristen Sky, who is an intuitive guide, energy teacher, and a spiritual mentor who bridges the worlds of energy, consciousness, and soul level healing. Tristen, thank you so much for being here. It's such a gift to share this space with you here today. I really, really, truly appreciate that.
Thank you. Yeah.
So, what was the moment that you have realized you were meant to walk this spiritual path?
Great question. I love it. We're going in deep. Okay, so I'm a psychic medium. So what I do is I pass along messages for people to help them on their path. I've always been a really sensitive person, like just feeling energies more deeply than the average person, kind of being overwhelmed by energies, So I felt like I had no choice but to really investigate this to figure out like what's wrong with me in a way. I was like, why do I feel things that other people don't, like my family or my sister? I was like, what the heck's wrong at the time? I was like, what's wrong with me, right? So I felt like I had no choice but to deep dive into the spiritual realm. But at around 22-ish, it's when I had like a dark night of the soul, when I was super anxious, super depressed, and I really didn't want to be on this earth. I was just kind of over it. So it's when I had to really go deep, deep, deep within, like to the crevices of my soul, to the deepest portal of my heart, where I was able to find compassion and love myself. And it's through that like magical place, inside the portal of my heart that I really found those mystical, parts of myself, those mystical abilities. And it was at that point, I think, yeah, at around 22, when I was like, oh, I get it now. Like I was like, this is, I kind of, it's when I would start to see spirits more clearly, when I start to get psychic messages, when I was able to see that energy healing was real. So, throughout my whole life, I've been quite sensitive, but around 22 is kind of when my awakening happened, when I was like, okay. And then since then, I feel like I have a non-negotiable spiritual practice. Like I feel like I have no choice but to be spiritual, or else, I just don't feel like myself.
So at 22, things have turned for you. Obviously, how did you recognize these things, like these messages that were coming in?
Well, it's funny because my when I was young, my mom was friends with a psychic medium, so she would come over sometimes and deliver messages, and it would blow my mind the things she would say. I remember one time, me and my sister, it's a fun story. We went to McDonald's to get they had like new fruit smoothies at the time. And I remember we both got the same flavor. Like let's say we both got strawberry. And then in the car, me and my sister were drinking the strawberry smoothies, and we're like, "Oh my God, we should have got different flavors each so we could have tried both. Like you should have got orange and I should have got strawberry so we can try both." But okay. And then the psychic came over the next day and she said that she's like, you guys are drinking smoothies but you meant to get a different flavor or something, and it like blew my mind. I was like, you little psychic. So ever since I was young, I kind of was introduced to that realm. So like I said, around 22, I remember I was in a deep meditation, and it's like my eyes disappeared. Like I wasn't seeing the physical world anymore. Like it was really just the imaginative world. Like I saw like it was, I can't, it's obviously hard to describe
Yeah.
the other side, but like I would see like ancient, if I could describe it, like ancient runes or words, or like scribes, I think what they're called, like symbols that would just like flood my brain. And I was like, what the hell? And it was almost like an initiation process, kind of like my spirit team was like downloading information into my being, if that makes sense. And it was at that moment, I remember I was sitting down in a meditation with the sun and seeing all these symbols. I had no idea what they meant, but it felt like I was being initiated to like psychic medium. And then since that day, my eyes awakened. So I have clairvoyance, which means clear seeing. So through that moment, I started to just see things. So I would just start to get messages from the other side. And yeah, and la da dee da, that's why we're here.
Hmm. So can anybody, because you have to be open, right, to receive this kind of information, do you think
Mm.
anybody can be in that, I guess, stage in their life where when once they're open, things can show up to them in different way? Because obviously some people feel, some people see, some people smell, so it's like different ways. But Can anybody become so intuitive?
Yes, I think so. I think anyone, I always say this, anyone could be psychic, anyone could be an intuitive. I mean, I identify as psychic medium, that's the word I use for me, but like anyone can be psychic. So this is how I describe it, is that like we're all born with different traits. So I was a dancer. I love to dance. So back in the day, I was in dance class, and I remember we had to do the splits, and I just was not naturally flexible. Like it took me forever and ever and ever to stretch to be able to do the splits. Whereas other girls or other you as well, that's funny. Other uh dancers, they were just naturally flexible. They didn't have to practice. They just dropped in the splits. And I was like, "How are you doing that?" They're like, "I don't know. I was just born flexible." So it's kind of like the same thing with psychic. It's that luckily, I was born extra sensitive than the average person, so it's a little bit easier for me to connect to the other side versus someone who's very grounded and who's like antennas aren't as open as me. You use that word open, which I like. So it might be trickier for some people, but anyone can do it. Like I could be a Olympian gymnast if I really tried. If I really practiced my stretches and I practiced working out and whatever, I could do it if I wanted to, but it could be easier for other people who are just naturally flexible or have natural body mass for muscle. So anyone can be a psychic medium. It's just easier for some people than others. And for me it was on the easier side for me to tap into that
I personally don't see things, but I can't. Woo!
sense.
Oh yeah.
Mm,
I get goosies. Like once something or someone is present in the room, I don't see it, but I can see
mm.
it because like my hair goes boom.
Cool.
Like, okay, who's in the room now? So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Well, from what I've learned, there's the different clairsenses, yeah, like clairvoyance, clairaudience, clairsentience, and from what I feel like that would be clairsentience, right? Like clear feeling, being able to sense things, right? Perhaps through emotions or body sensations, right? That's kind of maybe what you feel closely connected to.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Which it's a really interesting, like on the beginning too, I don't want to say I was in denial, but I was kind of like, I don't know what that is. Like, why am I going through this kind of like
Mm,
energetic, weird sensation in my body? I wasn't sure. I'm like, is there a drift in the room? Like, is there like wind coming through? But
mm.
once I start becoming as well very open and my spirit, like I started my spirituality about maybe 7 years ago or so, and I talked to Nadine, who is a mutual friend. um,
Yes.
um, she has guided me through this process as well quite a bit to have a little bit more understanding and being a little bit more open to
Mm.
these senses. So yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I almost call it like spidey senses, like from Spider-Man, I think it's what it's called. It's kind of like, oh, my spidey senses are tingling. Yeah. And
Right.
it's like,
Yeah.
yeah. And I think it's normal. I really think that's normal. That's how humans are designed to have that sixth sense, right? So I remember like at the time I was like, well, something's wrong with me. Like I'm sensing things, I'm seeing things, I'm feeling things, but I came to realize that's actually normal. Like it's normal to be like this.
Mm.
Mhm.
What happens to what happens energetically to, for example, someone who is really not aligned with their truth?
When people are not aligned with their truth, I feel like from what I've noticed, they suffer knowingly or unknowingly. So sometimes they could be just unhappy or kind of miss the magic of life. And sometimes they don't know any better. Like that's just the life they know, if it's how they were brought up or how society told them to be. They may not know that they're suffering or they may not know that they're unhappy, but they are. And people tend to just be less, they vibrate at a lower frequency. So to generalize, they could be, yeah, less happy, less nice, less fulfilled. But when we dig deeper and find our purpose and our authentic truth, it's almost like we vibrate higher, we're happier, we're more purposeful, we have more radiance, we're glowing. So it's just like
Mhm.
different levels of light and darkness that someone would carry, but when you're not living in your purpose, your light's a bit dimmer, I find.
So, is there something that we have to go through the darkness of the soul to awaken us? and to realign ourselves in a certain way, or this is something that some people are more aligned and some people are not?
That's a great question. I love this question. Well, personally, I had to go deep dark into my soul. So I really went through the dark nights of the soul, which means like going into, the dark aspects of who I am, the monsters under the bed, like really, my not good qualities or aspects that prevented me to be authentic. So for me, it was definitely going to the dark places of my soul. But no, it doesn't have to be dark and gruesome and bad. Like I see a lot of people who connect to their authentic truth in a more um easy way. It doesn't have to be so intense, but it does involve introspection and going deep within the portal of your heart. But that doesn't necessarily have to be dark, if that makes sense. But for me, it was. I went through the darkness, but I made my way out for sure.
Yeah. What are the most common energetic blocks that you see when you work um,
Mm.
with certain people?
I'm loving your questions. I love these questions. They're so rich. I love them. It's different than what I'm usually asked. Okay, let's see. Energetic blocks that I see. So I see a lot of clients, right? So what is a common theme that I see? Well, it's different between men and women, or different between like masculine and feminine. Um, the one thing that I find more in yang in the masculine energy is like I feel like we all want to be good. We all want to be seen as good. We all want to be good. And sometimes the energetic block is kind of seeing, the shadow is to kind of go into like, you're actually not that great, or you're actually not that talented, or you're actually not that good. Like, it's to really see yourself as like, the good and the bad. And I find that more on the yang, on the masculine, not to, there's man and there's female and male in all of us, but generally in the more masculine type of people, they're like, well, I'm perfect, or like, I'm just great. Like, there's nothing wrong with me. And then I kind of have to say, no, there is. There's a lot wrong with you, 'cause then that's where
Is
you
it
have to look
because of
into.
their ego? Because we all have an ego.
That would be the word. Ego. But I find it does lean more on the masculine side. So I feel like that's a big energy block. And then the opposite, which I find more on the yin, on the female, is kind of not seeing your greatness. It's like not seeing that you are special and that you are amazing and that you are capable and magical and psychic and you are all these things. So it's almost like sometimes I have to lift people up, being like, you're beautiful, you're amazing, like see it, feel it. And sometimes I have to put in a way like people down, be like, actually, you didn't, maybe you do need to work on kindness, or maybe you do need to connect more deeply to your emotions. So there's a lot of like bringing up and bringing down, and sometimes both at the same time.
Like a teeter-totter. Mhm.
Mm.
So how can someone begin strengthening their intuitive awareness between that? So, the masculine or the feminine, how can they do that?
Yeah. So I feel like the most popular, well known way to connect to your intuition and find awareness is through meditation and stillness, is to really stop listening to the brain. So the brain, the head is a beautiful place. You can use your brain to do math and to, catch the bus on time and to correct your book and to do a bunch of things, but the brain lies. The brain will say, I'm ugly, I'm stupid, I'm fat, I hate my, it'll say a lot of things that aren't real. So it's when we kind of disconnect from that part of us, so the energy in our noggin, and go deeper to the, like I say, to the portal of your heart, to the energy at the heart chakra, to your center. That is where all the wisdom is. That's where all the information is. Like that's where we need to be. And this is when we can look into the light and see that I am beautiful and I am amazing and I am talented, and also the dark. Like, okay, maybe I am too this, or I was too reactive, or I was a little bit needy, or kind of look into those places, but it's in the heart, not the head.
So it's like the brain and the heart coherent, being in that alignment, um,
Hmm.
where the heart recognizes what's going on in the brain and the vice versa, right? Because if your brain thinks differently and then your heart feels differently, then you're not in an alignment. Would that be
That's
the correct way to say it?
I think so. I think so. I mean, it's classic the head versus the heart, what the head wants versus what the heart wants, you know? So, yeah, there is a misalignment when that happens, but that's normal. And that happens to me all the time where I think one thing, but intuitively I feel another. So it's a little bit tricky to align those. And I almost feel like there's head, heart, and gut in a way. I feel like there's almost, well, for me, like there's three pillars or like there's three different directions of where I want to go. So when all those three align, it's kind of when I feel truly whole.
Mhm. So the gut would be more like the intuitive, the
Mm.
sixth sense in a way, feeling.
Well, for me, it's more the body, you know, if the head is the mind, the heart's the emotion, and then the gut to me is like the physical body. So it's kind of like what my body wants, like, or feels. And that could be literally like fabrics that I'm wearing or, you know, like the hormones around another person or food. Like it's, you know, to listen to your gut, there's a lot of information there that sometimes the heart may not pick up on or the brain.
It's usually the first brain. It's our gut.
Mm, that's right. Yeah, kind of.
It's
Yeah.
like the first thing that happens because you know when you're meeting someone, let's say you meeting your boyfriend or girlfriend for the first time, you have those butterflies in your stomach, right?
Mm,
It's
mm.
that gut. It's I guess will be the first thing that would be like, oh, I have these little butterflies happening in there. So yeah,
Yeah.
you start really thinking of what's going on, right? Because your brain kind of shuts off that emotion or that serotonin or whatever, and you're like in the zone
Mm.
of, oh yeah, I'll do anything.
That's right. I mean, for a lot of people, I mean, I'm definitely someone that is the least, like, I'm very, it took me a while to anchor into my body. I was much more in the clouds and, like, you know, listening to my body was something I had to take a lot of work on to realize, oh, this person is making me anxious or I feel uncomfortable, like, wearing this fabric. I know it's super silly, but, like, I just wasn't aware. Like, I had, even today, I still struggle with, like, my physical body awareness. Um, so it took me some time to listen to the intelligence that my body is telling me, and that's when I'm like, "Oh my God," like, sometimes it's not in a long quest of hiking a mountain and talking to God through the clouds. Sometimes it's just listening to my beautiful body, you know?
It's important about that. It's really tuning in. So, what
Mm.
does awakening really mean to you, or if you want to pass that to someone else? When they say awakening and they don't know what awakening means.
Well, for me, there's more to life than this is kind of like the summary of awakening. Like to me, there's like what you know, there's multiple awakenings someone can go through, but to me, I really know there was a life before my awakening and life after, and then that's just it. Like once you're awake, you're awake. And like before, it's kind of like all that I would see is like going to school and eating dinner and saying hi to mom and like it was just a very grounded from what I can only physically see. You know, it was very, you know, only what I could physically see with my eyes. And then awakening was able to see beyond the physical. So I was able to see how do I say this? Like that there's more to life than this, that there's more to life than the physical. I mean, I know it's a kind of vague or thing to say, but in summary, there's more to life than this is what I would say.
So it's basically it's like having that experience of awakening versus simply going through a difficult season where you need to recognize that and I guess be aware kind of thing of the what's awakening, what's really happening, and then are you really going through this difficult time? You know, what's going on the physical plane, I would say.
Mm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Beyond the physical plane, I definitely think connects to awakening.
What role does shadow work play in true, I guess you can say, awakening transformation?
Mm. Well, for me, you know, I connect a lot. Like, how do I say this? To me, I feel like the purpose is to be a light being, is to really be full of love and light. And to me, love comes the energy from your heart. It's almost connects to Mother Earth. It's below us. Whereas light comes from outside of us. It's like the heavens. It's the energy above us. And I feel like with love, we tend to care, but with light, we tend to make good decisions. So I feel like there are two energies. There's love from our hearts and light from above us. So I feel like our purpose is to act from that place, that sense of goodness, that sense of like ethical behaviors. So working with the shot, like for me, I'm not a demon person, I'm not a black magic person. So, shadows work is to look into what areas of my life am I not acting from love and light? Which areas am I not acting from a goodness or ethical place? Which is very normal. We're human. We're not perfect, from the way we were brought up or the way, again, society or just innately. Like sometimes we're born with just certain traits that are a bit dark. And it's to look into those, dark crevices and to love them and heal them so then we don't act from those places. We aren't gods, we're not angels. So to be completely perfect or to be completely lovingly light being is kind of impossible, I think, or almost impossible. But I feel like we should strive to be a love and light being. And that is to go through the shadow parts of ourselves, the darkness, but to not live in it. Like I know there's a lot of bad people, bad witches and bad psychics that kind of like being in the dark because there's a certain sense of power in it and selfishness and greed. So we can get what we want through that avenue in a way or fulfill a need through that avenue. But I don't know, it's just not the way to go. We have to, be the hero, be the superhero. We have to be the what's the word? What's the word? Antagonist is the bad protagonist of our own stories. Light always wins. The good always wins. We have to walk the good side of life.
We have to just embrace the shadow and basically, again, be conscious about not repeating them again,
Hmm.
whatever it is, be aware of it.
Awareness.
Mhm. It's like going back to that some questions like how do you become aware of these certain things? This for me is like really pay attention to these things. Take information from other people when they tell you something that it like simple family members. Hey, it really bothered me the way you spoke or the way you acted or
Hmm.
stuff like that. And I think these little things can be cues for you to look into and be like, oh, I am hurting this other person, or I'm doing something to this other human being who's
Hmm.
making this way, and how can I change, right? How can I
Hmm.
better myself? As you said, at the end of the day, we're all humans and we're experiencing this earth the same way. We have the good,
Hmm.
bad, and it's like you gotta it's a teeter-totter. It's like which one are you gonna choose, right? Which one you're gonna go? You're gonna go in the bad way,
Hmm.
or the good way. So
That's right.
the light. Take, take that
That's
take that step to the light and be
that's right.
aware of those things. So
Choose the good. And there's been times in my life too where sometimes I've chosen the bad and I always regret it. You don't take the temptation. Like don't go that way or don't lean into ego or to your power or to your false sense of power, I should say. As tempting as it is, you always regret it. You never regret the good. Even if it means like sometimes doing the good could be selfless or you actually may not get what you want, but in the end, you will. It happens within your energy. Like for instance, let's say it's a business deal or like like let's someone cheated their way to the top or something like that, and I could be really jealous. I could be like, oh my god, well now they're just so successful, or they got what they wanted, but they didn't get there in like an ethical way. So I perhaps may have gotten less money or I didn't get the job, but I acted in a way of love and light. But energetically, they're suffering. They have a horrible energy. Their heart chakra could be like all muddy and gross, whereas perhaps I didn't get the job or I didn't fulfill that goal I wanted. But energetically, I feel I'm much more pure and much more aligned. So it's like way better. I was like, yeah, always choose love and light because you'll never be wrong, or you'll never walk the wrong path if you follow it.
and you know what? If it wasn't meant for you, it wasn't meant for you. There's
That's right.
the universe
That's right.
always will send you things that are good for you. So,
Hmm.
it's like I try to teach my kids too. It's like, don't set your mind on certain things because if they don't work out, then you're gonna a be upset, be what we just discussed that you're gonna be jealous or you're gonna be saying these things. So it's kind of like, it just didn't work out. It's okay.
Mm,
Just move on to the next thing. Wish someone well, good luck, and
mm.
move on. Don't hold on to these energies because
That's right. Um, Something that helps me a lot is everything happens for a reason, and then it's when I truly, truly believe it. So if I didn't get, like, for instance, this job opportunity, which isn't real, or maybe it's real, but like I was just using it as an example, but it's like everything happens for a reason. So yes, maybe let's say I did get that job, well, perhaps I would have been miserable at it, you know? So yes, it's to always have trust in the universe, and if you walk the right path and you act from a place of goodness, you'll go exactly where you're meant to be.
I agree. Totally agree.
Mm.
It's just,
Hmm.
it's not easy. Not easy for everybody to fall into that. But that's why you are here, and that's why I have this podcast so we can talk about it. And for me, it's like if I can have an impact on just one person, it's a huge thing. My heart is happy. And that's what matters.
It's that's right. It's very rewarding. And that's what I was kind of saying. It's like within the energy, like when we act from a place of goodness and help people, it's that energy that's within you that, because so many people, I feel like they can get away with doing bad things, but like, oh, well, I lied and cheat my way to the top and like, but I'm like, honey,
Hey,
no,
look
you
at both
didn't.
sides.
Yeah, your energy, like you're gonna be miserable if you walk that path. You know what I mean? So I hear you. It's definitely very reward, like you with this podcast and spreading good information, and I'm sure helping a lot of people. It's incredibly rewarding, and that in itself is way better than you know walking the other way.
How
Hmm.
do you help other people release old stories or identities that they're so attached to?
Well, a lot of my work really connects to who the person is. So if I connect to a person and I remind them of who they truly are, it's like they believe it themselves, so they have no choice but to follow it. So if I have a client who is uh okay, so kind of like disclaimer, I don't know why this is an example, but I'll just say it. Like there's nothing, so doing the work I've done, I saw there's many different types of relationships. There's homosexual relationships, there's heterosexual, there's monogamy, there's polyamory, there's all these different types that even though they don't align with me, I was able to see that universally they do align with other people. There's not one way to have a relationship, right? So let's say I have a client who's like polyamory and she's sleeping around with a lot of people, and that could be the path for some people. And I've seen that where some people are meant to be mothers, some people aren't. Like we all have different paths. But connecting to her, I was able to see that like that's not who you are. I was like, I could see that you want monogamy. I can see that you want loyalty. I can see that you want one person. So me being able, well, anyone can, but like being able to connect to someone's truth that I see, sometimes more than people can see themselves, I speak to that so then they feel it themselves, so they have no choice but to believe in it and trust it and then be it. So if I feel it, if I'm connecting to your soul and be like, girl, you're monogamous, like that's who you are. It's almost like they'd be lying to themselves if they try to go another place. So then that's the way to kind of reconnect is when I able to touch the authentic version of someone, they're able to touch it themselves.
That's really, really nice because I find too that people tend to kind of, I don't know if this is like more of a society, brainwashing, you're trying to fit in, or like you said, there's so many different kinds of groups, and we as humans, we want to be part of communities, we want to be part of these things and experience things, and love is huge. So this would bring me to a question of, again, like we were talking about energy. How does energy influence, for example, a relationship that we attract?
Right. Well, it's almost like let's say I have, let's say my father was abusive, like this is a big example, abusive. Well then and then I receive that form of love, well then I will seek out energies that mimic that. So I don't know if that's kind of your question, kind of like like it's all internal. Like if I believe I deserve love and happiness and joy, well then I will attract that. If I believe I don't, then I won't. So when we live authentically in our truth, which is love and joy and happiness, because that's truly who we are, and compassion, well then we will seek out those energies. So whenever there's like an imbalance in a connection, it usually is something like a hole or like a missing key within ourselves, if that makes sense.
Mm. So it will be the same thing because right now people are, I guess because we're living in such a crazy times, whatever. I was born in 1975, so we're a different generation. But right now, because with all this technology and all this fast speed dating, and like you said, monogamy and poly and all that stuff, how can one energetically, for example, if they're trying to, let's say, attract a partner, right? What would they have to do
Mm,
to attract that person?
right. Well, what I think, firstly is to be like, okay. So there's this famous saying by RuPaul, which is a famous drag queen. He says, if you can't love yourself, how the hell are you going to love somebody else, right? And there's truth to that, but I don't want to put pressure that like if you don't love yourself fully, well then you'll be single forever. So I don't want to kind of go down that rabbit hole, but I want to say to attract a partner, you kind of have to find yourself and find who you truly are. Authenticity is key. You have to be yourself. So if you're a man and you think, well, I need a wife who's skinny and pretty because that's what you do, and then she has money and then we're gonna have 5 kids, like if you're following that, that may not be your authentic truth. Maybe, first of all, maybe you're gay. I see a lot of that. I'm like, honey, you're a homosexual, you need go be with a man and feel fulfilled. Don't be something you're not. You have to be yourself, and from that space you can find out what type of partner you truly need, a man or a woman, or a they them. Or do you need someone active and dominant? Do you need someone adventurous and fun? Do you need someone introspective and quiet? First, you need to find yourself, so then you can find a match to that. Another thing I want to say is going from a place of energy, right? So it's like not what they look like or what they sound like or their culture, their religion or anything like that, but really go about vibes, like a person that is aligned to who I am, like manifesting an energy, right? Like someone who not just tall and good looking and whatever, but like someone who understands me or depending what you need. Like if you need someone that values family or not, some people that doesn't matter. Perhaps you need someone who's adventurous and some people don't like that. So to manifest an energy, so I feel like one thing would be to find yourself and to live authentically. So to truly be yourself, like what you like and don't like what you don't like. Don't listen to anyone else, your parents, the culture, whatever. Listen to your heart and then manifest from a place of energy, not from ego, not from like a
Not from one,
person.
right? Because then you always
Those are
want
my tips.
one. Yes. No,
Yeah.
I think it's very important to talk about this because
Mm.
um, there is a lot of this going back and forth. I want to manifest someone, I want to do this and this, but I find that it's almost like, again, energy, but it's forced energy a lot. Anyways, this is from, I guess, I mean, majority of my friends are married or divorced and that stuff, but let's say the ones who are divorced or separated, it's like that need to being with someone. And I know some of them are in the wrong relationships because they're kind of, either a quote unquote, I want to be with someone, and they're forgetting everything else that's around them. So, yeah.
I mean, that's true. I mean, we are a social species, so in a way we in a way need
Mm.
love and connection and partnership. So it's something that we need as much as like food and water. Like in a way I always say like someone could live with not much food and not, like, but without love that can be very, very difficult. So partnership is important. I get that. But yes, we have to not go from a place of need. We have to go from a place of a whole. So it's two wholes coming together. If it comes from a place of need, then how do I say this? It's fine. It's fine. It's one way to go about life, but it does feel less whole. It feels less holistic. But like some people, and that's okay. Like, let's say you need a man for this to help you. Like, it's almost like puzzle pieces. So let's say I have many lacks. Like, I'm not very assertive or I don't make much money. So then a man who is assertive and makes a lot of money kind of fulfills that need. So it's almost like two puzzle pieces. So that's okay. It's definitely okay to fulfill a need through a person. But the most profound types of relationships that I've noticed is when two people find wholeness within themselves and just co-live together. So it's not a sense of I need this or I need that. It's just like I love myself and I love you. It's not like I need you. It's just I love myself and I love you.
Oh, I love
When
that.
it comes from a place of need, it's not like I don't love myself. It's like I need you.
Right. Right. It's like almost codependence in a way.
That's right. That's right. But I also know like people but we are social species. So we do need love and connection. So if, let's say you're on a journey to find yourself and you're not there yet, but if it's still okay if you need a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever just to
Totally
live,
okay.
that's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, totally okay. It's all about experimenting and, like you said, finding yourself, finding
Hmm.
of who you are, what you want in life, um, whatever it is.
So, are you single?
No,
Ah, okay. Cool. Oh, you're married.
I guess. But
What's
I've been separated for 7 years. We just
mm.
got back together 3 years ago. So
Oh my God, you
yeah,
separated with
and
this person and got back. Oh,
and
that's
that's why
magical.
my spiritual journey started about 8 years ago. Because when we separated, is I think that's when I went through my dark night of the soul, because I had to go within to
Mm.
really figure out, again, who I was, what happened to me. And it was the same thing with him.
Mm.
We needed the time to be apart to be on this journey to figure this out. And then when we came together, um, it was the most beautiful thing ever. Yeah,
Good work. you
yeah.
know Good job. And that's what I
Wasn't
call like
easy, but yeah, it can happen. It can happen to anybody.
that's right. That's like I call it soulmated hard. It's like you soulmated. It's like when people go and then you come back. That's very like that's a very soulmate type of
Yeah,
connection for sure.
yeah. So it is what it is. We love it. We love each
Yeah.
other. Yes.
Yay! I
How?
love love.
Yes, I know, but life is life, right? And
That's right.
like we said earlier, we're humans, and we just have to do what we have to do for us, what works for us. So
Mhm.
yeah.
That's right.
How does the nervous system interact with a spiritual or emotional healing?
Wow. Okay, so again, I'll speak from my personal experience that we all have different nervous systems. I have a very hyperactive nervous system. I'm a very, very nervous, anxious person in general. And it's a double-edged sword. So what I like for me is that I pick up on things like the subtlest subtleties I pick up on. Like I'm hypersensitive, hyper anxious. So my nervous system kind of picks up on everything. So that's what makes me a good psychic and energy healer, because I'm able to pick up on things, and not just from empathy. Empathy is, through the heart, right? Kind of like what we talked about earlier about brain, heart, and gut. Like the body is my hyper active nervous system picks up on things. So it's a blessing because I do pick up on things, so I can kind of pass along information and energy healing. But again, it's tricky. Just my day to day life, just in public or in spaces or talking to people, it's almost like I tense up so quickly, and then I freak out and I sweat and I'm, it's very tricky to be such an anxious and nervous person. So it's a blessing in disguise, and vice versa. Like let's say someone, like I think of Earth, like Earth energies, like Taurus, Capricorn, or just like people who are super earth and grounded who aren't. Like I remember I had some friends that just don't get anxious or nervous at all. And like it's just so simplistic and beautiful. They're just like doopy doopy doo, I'm living life. And that has many blessings too. because you're able to do hard things. Let's say you won't get overwhelmed during situations. So even if you're an energy healer, let's say you have a patient, or sorry, a client that's freaking out, you have a stable energy to kind of go into it. So they all have pros and cons. I've learned to love my sensitivity and my hyperactive nervous system. And some days it sucks, but at the end of the day, I love it. I love myself. So I love all my cons that make my pros. Actually, I'll say that real quick as well. I've discovered, sorry, I'm a Gemini, I talk a lot. So that your biggest con is your biggest pro. So my hyperactive nervous system, or my hypersensitivity that I did not like when I was young, I'd cry at everything, I'd feel everything, is also my biggest pro. That's what makes me a super good psychic and a really good empath. Or the fact that I am scattered. I'm a very scattered person. Like I'm here, I'm there, I left my keys here, I don't know where this is, I'm late for this. And again, it's a con, but my pro is that I'm really adaptable. Like if plans change, I'm okay with it. Like if I need to drop this and go here, I'm like, let's go. So your biggest con tends to be your biggest pro.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, it's again, we all deal with different things, and yeah, but I think I find myself so much more grounded too. Um, like when I started my podcast,
Mm.
I was sweating and I was so nervous. I mean, even right now, my palms on my hands are a little bit sweaty, but
Mm.
it's so much easier now than what it was in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's how you manage that, right? How do you balance
Exactly.
that stuff? Yeah, and don't look at that as a negative thing. It's just you have to go through that process and how you deal with it. So, yeah,
Yeah, it's just the way I'm designed. So therefore, I may need extra bubble baths, or I may need to do some
yeah,
yoga, or some lavender oil. Like it's just the way I'm designed to
yeah.
keep myself, whereas some people may not need that. They may need something else, so we're all
Run
different.
in the forest or something. Yeah.
Hmm.
How do
You
you?
know,
Yeah, go ahead.
just like that's what is purposeful. It's when we truly are ourselves and lean into that. So like for me, I feel like I am doing the work I'm meant to do. Like looking at Tristan, it's like what am I good at and what am I not good at? So it's like I am good at talking. I am good at being empathetic. I'm really good. I'm a psychic, so I'm really good at passing along messages. So it's kind of like aligning with my excellence, or the toolkits that I was given. Whereas someone else, they have to be themselves and find that authentic truth to find out what's in your toolkit and move from that space. So, and that's true purpose.
Mm. How do people process heavy emotions?
How do people
With,
process heavy
yeah,
emotions?
without like um,
Okay.
bypassing this spiritual aspect of themselves.
No, how do I say this? Let's say I'm in yoga
Hmm.
and I'm in a plank position. So it's kind of when your two palms are against the mat and you're holding your body weight up, kind of like a push up, but you're holding yourself up, a plank. And I'm holding and I'm holding and I'm holding, and I want to drop and I want to fall because it hurts. Like it's hard. My muscles are crying. But in that moment where I want to fall, I push a bit more and I find that strength, and I find that deeper part of myself. And then I hold. I didn't fall. That is true strength. And that's how we become stronger physically. And in yoga, there's a saying, what you practice on the mat is a reflection of you off the mat. So it's kind of like, let's say there is something dark or deep, a breakup, or your house is on fire, or whatever. It's that part when you're with yourself and you look deep within, and maybe you want to give up or fall, or break, but you go just a little bit deeper, or you find just a bit more strength, or you go deeper than you've ever been, or, you find more compassion that you ever did. And that's kind of how we grow, and that's kind of how we heal those places, right? So bypassing or floating to the top isn't the way. I would just get out of the plank if I'm like, okay, this is too much. But to find that deeper strength is truly how we can heal and move forward and find our authentic selves. Does that make sense?
Mm. It's like basically not giving up in a way. Deal with your shit. Still move forward.
Yeah,
Sorry,
yeah,
I have a
yeah.
potty mouth sometimes.
That's so fun.
Try not to swear.
What's your zodiac sign?
I'm a Pisces.
Oh, you're a little Pisces. I love Pisces. When's your birthday? Are you March?
March 13th. So I'm a
Wow.
sun and moon Pisces, and my
Oh
ascendant
my
is
gosh.
Sagittarius.
Okay, so I was gonna guess Sagittarius. That's what I thought you were, because that was that pouty mouth. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
but
So
that's
I was
probably
like, what's
the
the
Sagittarius. Yeah, that's funny. That's probably where that comes from. But yeah, kind of like don't give up on yourself. I love that. But it's more like a investigative as well. Like let me figure this out or let me go deep within. That's also part of the work.
How can people break patterns of karma?
Karma? Break patterns of karma. Wow.
Yeah.
Um
Is there a way that people actually do that? Or is this something that
well it's
is part of all this spiritual um, awareness, awakening, what we talked about earlier?
well, firstly, for me, once again, everything I'm saying is from my perspective and from information I get from the spirit world. But like karma is kind of like outcomes that the universe will bring from decisions that you've made in this life or even before incarnating. And some are beneficial and some aren't. But there's that sense of like you reap what you sow kind of deal.
Because
And
karma
therefore,
also is not bad, right?
that's right. No, yeah, there's good karma, of course. Yeah. Like one of my favorite sayings, and this is kind of like, the darkest thing I could do is when I wish someone, like, if someone does something, it's like I say, I hope you get what you deserve. Okay. That's the darkest thing I could say. Because in a way, if you just did good, if you're beautiful and friendly and you gave to the poor and you did all these things, if I say, I hope you get what you deserve, well, then you'll get abundance and love, but if you lived in misalignments, well then I hope you get what you deserve because then you'll learn and grow, so maybe you won't. So I feel like that's the darkest of dark thing I would ever say, but it has like a neutral energy to it, just I hope you get what you deserve. um and that's in a way karma. So in a way, if you can bypass it in this life, but then once you die and you cross over to the other side, you will get your karma then. Like, karma is inevitable. If you've done bad this whole life, but you lived in riches and fame and artificial
Follow
joy,
you to another lifetime. Hmm.
well, even just the other side. For instance, I had a cousin who died by suicide, and he did it in a pretty awful way.
Mhm.
Um, and in a way, he didn't get away with it. So on the other side, he suffered. He's like, oh my God, why did I do this? Like, what? Like, you can't get away. Like, karma will find you. So and that's okay. That just means there's lessons I need to learn. And that's where I can grow and love myself and find compassion and heal. But there's no way out. There's no way out. So if you've done bad, you'll get it. In one way or another, you will find it in your energy.
So how can people clear karma?
So it's kind of like what we've been talking about. So that sense of aligning with love and light, being a good person, finding goodness, finding awareness, going deep within your soul to find out what is not in alignment. Like, why is this karma happening to me? Like, why is this shit happening to my life right now? Like, why is this happening? So then we can go and to heal it. Compassion is big. I want to say compassion is a big, big tool that a lot of people don't use. And sometimes I don't as well. It's sometimes hard to just truly hold ourselves and love ourselves and heal ourselves with compassion. And that way we can, in a way, clear our karma, let's say, is when we do those steps. Kind of like what we talked about. It's through awareness, it's through stillness, it's through goodness, forgiveness, all the words, compassion. It's through those steps, yeah.
Mm. Yes, it's so important to have a little bit more understanding, and because if you live in that denial, then you're right. It's like we won't be happy. We will go through life um, countering around and being mad and hate each other and living in fear and everything, and coming to those senses of, you know, why can't we love each other? Why can't we be all compassionate human beings? But I know not everybody's that way. We're all on different timelines and everything, and everybody has to go through their own process.
Hmm.
That would be so beautiful.
Hmm. You're right. And I think it's important to strive for that, like, or to be that yourself, even though it's not in the world right now. But if it's in your world, like your personal space, then that's what truly matters. Like, if the world is ugly and on fire and there's lying and stealing, but you don't act from that place, then the world may not be heavenly, but your world will be.
Yeah. It's like for me, when I talk to other people, because again, for me, this whole spiritual, it's new. I mean, 7, 8 years, that's still very new, and I'm
Mhm.
still learning and still going through things, whatnot. But for me, when I'm talking to someone and I talk about these things like I'm talking with you, is that I always feel that it's like planting a seed. You plant that
Hmm.
seed in someone, and it's up to them to take it, I would say, to take it to the next level. It's like, be curious, be adventurous, have a look what, going around you, right? And that's how I feel. Um,
Hmm.
Spreading that is very important because you
I
can't
love it.
force anybody into anything. It's just
That's right.
say it and you can just leave it as it is. It's up to them whenever they're ready.
Well said. Yeah. It's like igniting something. Or you're right, like planting the seeds, but it's up to them to water it and to let the flower grow, right? But you can help them plant that seed. And you're right. It's almost like energy is real. So if we're acting from a place of awareness and consciousness and compassion, then being like having your energy spread around the world or just being in a room with other people, it infiltrates their being, right? So if I'm acting from a place of love and light, like when I'm on, like when I'm in a really good place, I can feel my energy influence other people and then they can act from a good place too. You know, vice versa. If I'm in a really bad place, well, not, or, if I hate myself and I'm miserable, that can infiltrate someone's energy as well, right? So, I know what you mean. It's nice to kind of plant those seeds
Mm.
of love. Yeah.
What do you sense is happening globally regarding consciousness right now?
Good question. Right now, like today, in 2025, and it's going to be 2026 soon, there is like a yang energy that I feel. Like it's very fiery. Like there's something masculine happening. And it makes sense. Like even like politically, it's very masculine right now. There's a lot of logic, you know. One thing I can see, it's like rising. Okay, I know it's going to sound very poetic, but like fire is what I see. Fire. So I'll talk about the good. The good is that fire goes up. There's like a upward energy. So I almost feel like there's people stepping up. There's perhaps new leaders stepping forward. There's like quick awakenings in consciousness. And to me, it leans masculine. So there's like a sense of like determination or uh, stoic energy. Like there's a sense of like moving fast and up in the world. And I like that spiritually because I feel like there's a lot of like understand, like when I said it's like it's in the yang, it's a lot of logic, understanding things. That's where I sense is happening for 2026.
Mm,
The con is I can see as much as there's a rise of perhaps new leaders and perhaps new awakeners, let's say. There's also like a sense of false leaders or like again ego or a sense of I'm better than or I'm gonna move forward or I'm awakened and you're not. It's like there's also that sense of like ego-ish when it comes to the spiritual awakenings of the world. So I guess kind of like my prediction or kind of what I see globally is that. But there's also a sense of joy I pick up on. Like when I connect to the global energy, I do feel like there's going to be more joy, like a little bit more happiness. Like kind of like your original question or one of your questions was like sometimes like awakening doesn't have to be dark and depressive and crying and all these things. So I do like maybe from what I suspect, me and you kind of went to the deepest, darkest rivers and oceans of our soul. But what I can suspect, or I feel like there's going to be more luck and joy, which is good. So people might kind of awaken in a more joyous, lighter way. I don't know if that makes sense, but when I connect to the world, I see fire, which is good and bad.
yeah, I was just saying, I'm like fire. I'm like, interesting. Maybe there's gonna be fire.
Yeah.
Hopefully, touch wood, not. But I personally think that
Mm.
new generation of um, youth, kids,
Hmm.
are very much more awake than I was at that age. Um, it could be because we are so connected globally. In terms of we have internet, we have access to all these information and everything, and people are always searching. People are always looking for other things, and I think we've lived very, I don't want to say negatively, but in the darkness. And I think now it's kind of things are shifting into this more of a light, maybe not yet. But
But that's kind of the fire quality I was seeing too. Like there's a brightness with the fire and
yeah,
clarity and illuminate. Do you understand?
yeah,
And joy. So that's why there is a positive to the fire, but I can also see the war. There's like that. I'm better and you're not. So there is that. So there's pros and cons. But on that note, what I think is really interesting is that how do I say this? We're in the age of Aquarius, right? And this is the time where we see technological advancements and we see non-binariness, and not just in gender, but just in life. Like it's very weird and it's progressive and it's intelligent. And in a way, humanity is the smartest it's ever been. Yet at the same time, I think my friend told me this, and I was like, "Oh my god, that makes so much sense." The dumbest we've ever been spiritually, almost like years like in the Egyptian era, where perhaps they didn't have smartphones and all these things, but spiritually very, very attuned. And it's almost like as the spiritual went down, the intelligence went up in a way. And I feel like we can't escape it. We're in the age of Aquarius, and it is what it is. So we are going to live with technology and intellects and that way of being. But it's almost like we're kind of moving um forward with that. So you're right, like these children who are gifted and intelligent more than before, it's like, yeah, we're getting smarter and smarter and more awakened as the time goes by. Yeah.
it's like I guess we have to go through this. We have to dip our toes in this, and I mean, there's no way out. So, how long is the year of Aquarius again? How long are we going to be in it?
2000 years. So it just started. Yeah, I think it's 2000 years. It's or 1800.
Oh my god.
So yeah. So we'll be in it for quite some time, but that's why it's okay. Like podcast is actually kind of Aquarian, like technology, like it's all good. Like it's what we're meant to be doing. So
Yeah.
that's okay. And we chose, like I believe we chose to be born. Like I believe you chose to be a Pisces. I chose to be a Gemini. Like we all chose these energies. We chose to be here. We chose to live through this, right? So everything happens for a reason, which we said. So we're
Yeah.
definitely meant to be here. But yeah, Age of Aquarius.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing.
Damn. I wish I lived the next 2,000 years just to see what will happen.
I'm sure you'll come back.
I probably will come back as some sort of plant or something, you know, as a medicine woman, maybe.
Mm, if only. I do remember my past lives too, which is a whole other topic, but it's interesting how my past incarnations on Earth shaped my present. Like, just real quick, I remember in one past life, I was a businessman. And not that long ago, because there's photography, black and white photography, I remember that. And the keyword is I remember, because I was there, right? And I was this big fat man. I was in business of some sort, and I really was attached to like money and like success and ambition, and I really neglected beauty and health. And I died young, like at around 40 from a heart attack. I remember because in these, if you study past lives, they say you remember your death, and that's the scene I was brought to, was me dying. And there's also another soul with me that I remember, and I was like, this is so weird. I was like, I remember you, even though I don't know who you are, but I remember that soul that was with me. Anyway, so I died from a heart attack. And then I really think the next life is this one. So I went from that one to this one. And in this life, I really value like health and beauty and like compassion. And it's not about just success and ambition and making $1 million, but truly make the world great, right? So it's almost like we learn something from each life so that we can keep climbing to the best version of ourselves, you know?
I love that. I love that. It's
Mm.
so true. I did some life regression as well, past life regressions.
Cool.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I always end up in Middle East,
Hmm.
something to do with the Middle East. I still haven't figured out what it was, but yeah, always end up there. So
Fascinating, eh?
yeah, my roots or something. Who knows? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, depending where you are in the world, there's different energies. So I chose to live in Canada for some reason to for the energies of the Canadian, you know. So yeah, it seems like there's lessons and energies that you're meant to learn from the Middle East.
Mhm. Oh, I'm not originally from there. I'm originally from Poland, but we're always from somewhere, I guess, right?
Well, your past lives, you said, right? Yeah, yeah.
So you have a book out.
I do.
Yeah. I would love to hear more about it. How
Sure.
there it is.
Yeah.
How did you come about to write this? What have really inspired you to write this book?
Got it. So, as my work, I'm a Gemini, so I do a lot. I can't just do one thing, I have to do multiple. So, I am a psychic medium, but I'm also an astrologer and I'm also an energy healer because I studied, because I'm a Reiki master. I studied Reiki. So, those are my three modalities. So, this book kind of blends all three. So it came to me through a dream. I dreamt this book, and being a mystic, I was like, well, I gotta do it. Like, I gotta listen to the portal of my heart. I gotta listen to the whispers here. So I started to write this book from a dream. So it's a story. So it's a story, it's a novel. So it's a story that I made up, within my dreams, right? So that day I just started writing everything, like I went do and I just wrote the book. So it has a very mystical, intuitive story. But within the novel, even though it's fiction that I made up, it's a fantasy, you learn about consciousness and you learn about astrology as you read. Because I read a lot. Like, I read a lot about, I love to read. I love to learn about things in like astrology, palm reading. I'm always learning. But it feels like homework because it feels like I'm just studying all day. So I would take breaks and like read like The Hunger Games or fun novels, just to keep me entertained. So it's a merge of the two. So it's a fun story, but as you read, you learn about stuff.
Mhm.
I'm in love with it. I'm really I'm in love with it. I'm super proud of it. It's the number one bestseller on Amazon, which is no big deal, but I'm super duper proud. And the story is about uh real quick, it's about souls in the before life. So before being incarnated, um are asked to choose what zodiac sign they want to be on Earth. So these souls kind of go through trials. They go to like the Aries realm and the Taurus realm to kind of learn about the energy of Aries and the energy of Pisces to figure out which zodiac sign they want to be once they are incarnated on Earth. And in a way, I believe in that. Like, I do believe we choose our sign, but it's fantasy. Like, they do games and stuff in the sky, let's say, to pick their sign. So yeah. I'm in love with it. I think it's very me. It's very Tristan. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's interesting, but you learn. I'm in love with it.
Nice, very nice. So if someone wants to purchase it, it's on Amazon, you said?
That's right. That's right. On all the Amazons. So even like UK or America, like it's there. Stellar Embodiment is what it's called. Yeah, Stellar Embodiment by Tristen Sky, which is my name.
Yes, beautiful. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
sharing about that. This is great. To do the same.
Mm,
Don't have a dream and don't be like, oh, it's just a dream.
that's right.
But sometimes these
Yeah.
dreams have a meaning. I always say to my kids, if you have a dream and you're not sure, there's so much stuff on the internet right now. I'm like, look it up what that means. Look it up what it means. I don't know, you being in the middle of the ocean, for example. Maybe there's a meaning behind it, right? You stop.
Mm-hmm.
There's something going on in your life right now at this moment, even though you're a teenager.
That's right.
So
Perseverance.
perseverance, right? So it's real. I'm super happy. I definitely gonna get one of the books. Definitely.
Ah,
I love that
yes.
stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll sign it if I when I'm with you in person. I'll get yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Mm.
Well, whenever you come down here to the Chelsea Wakefield area, it will be really cool to
I'll make my way around. I'll do a book tour, let's say. Yeah.
yay! Super cool.
Mm.
So, what tools would you suggest for people to use or integrate in their daily life? Let's say if they are want to or they want to be a little bit more um, awakened, or if they want to tap into their intuition.
So the first thing I want to say, is not necessarily a tool, but it's discernment. So it's to always choose love and light. If that's kindness, if that's compassion, if that's forgiveness, always act from the angel on your shoulder, not the devil. That's number one. Because I feel like, in a way, it's the hardest and easiest thing to do. Like, are you just making good decisions? And sometimes we don't know. Sometimes we don't know what the right thing is to do. But the more we practice listening to the little angel on our shoulder and not the devil, then we start to be more in alignment spiritually, holistically, mentally, emotionally, So that's one thing. Um, okay, quickly tools for me, and then I'll say tools that I often say for people, which are kind of surprising, but I say it all the time. So for me, it's whatever allows me to return within and to listen to the whispers of my soul. So for me, sometimes that's a bubble bath. So when I'm in a bubble bath, it's when I'm able to really hear the whispers of my soul. Or when I'm in nature, a mystic needs nature, right? So if that's going in a forest or a beach or a mountain or the snow, whatever that is, if I'm connected to Mother Earth, I feel much more connected to the whispers of my soul. But it's whatever makes you feel that. If it's going for a drive, or if it's working out, or if it's meditating or doing yoga, whatever helps you listen to that part of who you are, right? The other thing would be to take good care of yourself, which again sounds so simple, but I know it's so silly, but floss, brush your teeth, eat your meals, if that's 3 meals a day or 5 meals a day, whatever that is to you, and whatever food that is to you. Perhaps you're carnivore, perhaps you're vegan, like we're all different, but whatever is healthy to you, you drink your water, you get your sunlight, you stretch. So it's just to take care of yourself. And then those are the things for me, right? Other more tools that I see are anything that helps you feel spiritually aligned, like crystals or herbs or runes or tarot cards, like having holistic practices that help you connect to that. Like I like to pull cards or throw runes or do a prayer with a mala, like whatever that sort of active practice is can help you connect to the sacred or it can help you connect to the other side. But that's just for me. But another thing you do is read my book. That's a really good thing you can do to learn more about consciousness and feel more aligned because it's really written from that space. Like it's written from a soul perspective. So kind of when you're reading it, you're kind of have no choice but to think that way as well, which I like. But what I say often for clients, one thing that I say all the time that I think is so interesting is actually pets or animals. I actually don't have a pet yet, but Spirit is always advising go pet your cat, go walk your dog, go look at the birds outside. There's something about animals that really help connect to who we truly are because animals are that. Animals, aren't listening to society or listening to gender norms or religion. They're just being themselves. So connecting to animals. And the other thing I say for people all the time is meditate. And I feel like it's so like said all the time, but all the time I'm like, did you meditate? Well, then what are you doing? Like, what you're trying to find information outside of you? Like, what are you doing, silly girl? Sit down and breathe. That's where you are. You don't need me. You don't need a psychic. I mean, of course, I'll always be here, but it's like sit, breathe. You'll find all answers literally are found within you. Anything you want to know, it's in there. You just have to listen.
Yeah, it's like again, tapping into your own intuition and listening to the voices, the good voices,
Hmm. The
to
real ones, the true ones
the
from your
true
heart.
ones,
Yes.
right? It's so important. And again, we live in such a fast pace of life that even that 5 minutes sometimes it's so hard for people. But setting that aside, I find it very difficult to meditate at night because
Hmm.
I'm super tired. Like by 10 o'clock, I'm like, I'm done. And even though if I try to meditate, within like 2 minutes, I'm asleep. So for me, it's like when everybody's out or when I'm in nature,
Mm.
when I'm gardening and things like that, I love to connect, like you said, with the birds,
Mm.
bees, and listening to the sound of the wind is my
Hmm.
own way of
Mm.
kind of connecting with my own truth and my own um, uh, presence in the moment.
Well, that's right. Another thing that I love is flowers. I love flowers. That's my favorite thing, the intelligence of a flower. But the last thing I want to say is that it takes work. Like it takes a non-negotiable type of practice
Yes.
to really feel spiritually aligned. So it's kind of like an athlete needs to go to the gym or a chef needs to make food, you know,
You need to
or
practice.
a singer needs to sing and make albums. Like you have to do whatever it is to feel aligned, but you got to do it or else our muscles weakened, you
Yes.
know? Luckily for me, I live a life that allows me to do those things. Like my sister has 2 kids and a full-time job. Like it's kind of harder for her to go in nature for an hour and talk to birds and stuff like that. But whatever you can, if that is 5 minutes, or if that is drawing or coloring, or if that is, you know, whatever it is to help you listen to the whispers within, then that's what you should do.
I think everybody should be able to tap into that somehow. You know, even if it's 5 minutes, it doesn't matter. I mean, you
Mm.
go and have a bath, you know, it's at least 15, 20 minutes.
Well, I spend like a full hour in that bath. Let me tell you, I put the bubbles and the salts, like it's very luxurious, and I meditate, and I'm a mermaid. I'm a mermaid. What can
Yeah.
I say?
Maybe you should have been with Pisces.
That's funny. A lot of people think I'm a Pisces too, like or a Leo because I have long hair, but a lot of people think I'm a Pisces,
Do you have
which
Pisces
makes
in your
sense.
chart?
But no, not even.
Oh, wow.
My moon sign is Scorpio, right? Which in a way does kind of have that watery sensitivity, and it's because it's the moon sign. It's like there's that intuition that's sensitive. But I mean, I'm a Gemini. Look at me, like I'm talkative, I'm frivolous, I'm all over the place, and my rising sign's Aquarius, which I love as well. So I
If you could leave listeners with one truth
hmm.
that would genuinely change their life, what would that be?
What a simple question. It's like, what's the one thing that can change people's lives? Okay, so what I can say is that I can speak from Tristen, like going into my toolkit, like what are my specialties? Like what is Tristen good at? Then maybe, what are my special skills, let's say. And one of the things that I feel like I'm blessed at, but also work really hard to achieve and work towards is authenticity, is to be yourself. So if you're watching this on YouTube, if you have a visual podcast right now, you could see that I'm pretty and I have long hair. I'm pretty. Well, you see, I compliment myself because I love myself. But like, I have long hair and I wear makeup and like I do what I want. I'm not going to listen to society. I'm not going to do what other people want to do or what my parents want me to do because that goes into misalignment. Is to be yourself, is to listen to who you truly are. What color do you like? Do, are you wearing black because it's how business people should wear? Or do you actually want to wear red? Wear red if that's what you want to do. I say don't listen to society. Don't try to fit in. Don't try to do what other people want. Be yourself because that is where the true magic is. For instance, I want to say okay, I'm going to talk okay. I have a really good business. I'm really good at my job. I'm sorry. I have like so many 5-star reviews. When everyone gets a reading from me, they're like that's the best reading I've ever had. You're amazing, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, I know that because I do what I do best, okay? I'm not trying to market myself. I'm not trying to I'm not listening to society of how I should be or how a tarot card reader should dress or how a psychic should act or I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just doing what I do and I do it well. And I feel like that's where the magic is and that's where you may find or you will find success is when you're authentically you. So be you, whatever that is. If you like pink and you want to dye your hair pink, then dye your hair pink. If you don't, if you want to be bald, like if you like brown and you want to wear brown, then do that. It's just to be who you are. Be that.
Be authentic and don't. Yeah, I agree. I always tell the
Mm,
same thing to the kids. Just be who you are. Don't change.
that's right.
Maybe if you get into a relationship, don't change. Always be yourself.
Mm,
Because it's then
that's right.
you lose yourself in the noise of everything that's happening around, right?
Expectations as well.
Right.
Noise is a good word. And even sometimes too, there's lessons there. So perhaps
Yes.
you think your favorite color is blue, so you wear blue, and then you realize that it's not. Well, then you'll change and you'll evolve like a butterfly and you go through a transformation. But it's through that expression of your authentic self that you can really find yourself. So explore, find who you are, and be that. I think that's my biggest piece of advice from Tristen. Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're
Any
welcome.
any final thoughts you'd like to share here?
Final thoughts. Thank you. Thank you for having me. I loved your questions. They had a lot of depth, which I love, because a lot of people can ask superficial questions, but I didn't expect them to, well, I didn't expect them to be so rich, and I love that because it shows meaningful conversations. And you're right, it's like planting seeds and it can really help people. So thank you. I love that. And final thoughts, maybe just I'm such a preacher, but like gratitude. I'm very grateful for this, and I hope people find something they're grateful for today. Like if it's having the time to listen to this podcast, or the chair they're sitting on, or the walk that they're going through right now. It's just I'm really grateful right now, and I hope everyone finds something they're grateful to. So that's what I want to leave on.
Thank you so much, Tristen. I really appreciate you coming on and speak your truth and sharing your gift
Mm.
with us and the audience here. So I do truly appreciate you, and I'm grateful for connecting
No.
with you. So thank you.
You're welcome at anytime. Anytime. Welcome back. Yeah.
Okay, bye for now.
Bye.